Game 2 for our first day of the Legends stage, live from London for the FACEIT Major, and this one is interesting. They all are in their own ways. This one, of course, features two what should be polar opposite teams. We have Team Liquid stepping into the ring, widely regarded as a hot favorite to get all the way to the finals. However, standing in their way is a team like no other, a team that surprised in Boston to the stage where they were in the top 8, and of course the reason why they find themselves here in the Legends stage. They were called Quantum Velator Fire, now picked up by Team Winstrike, and there's a lot to be talked about, and if you want to be joining the conversation, hashtag FACEIT Major, nice and easy to join us on social media. Now, introductions of course are necessary, and as I wait for this to disappear, did it myself, I have Chad Sponge Birchall, and we have the lovely, here we go, Bjorn Threat Pers joining me. Hello.
Hello. Was that good? Because we grade him on his pronunciation of names from different countries.
I've had to do like Vinica.
Try it again.
I don't want to. Bjorn.
Bjorn.
Threat Pers. That's my Swedish.
I quite like it. That was really nice.
Tack så mycket.
Yeah. I was going to say your British accent's coming through more after our breakfast discussion.
Yeah, because the lady at breakfast said I sounded like I was from Canada.
Yes.
That's not okay.
Well, but you don't sound it anyway. I don't want to get sidetracked here because we do need to tell everybody.
Let's talk about Winstrike. Let's focus on this team because Chad, we had a little conversation before we kicked this one off.
Yes, we did.
And you started writing down how they got to the Legends stage.
I definitely did, and they had to beat the likes of now. Take a seat, everybody.
Yeah.
Because they had to go through both stages to get to this point. They had to beat Flash, Chinese team.
Yeah.
They had to beat Envious. They had to beat Avantgarde. That got them through the first stage. Then they went to the second Swiss stage, where they beat the likes of VP, no longer with us, Gambit, no longer with us, and Mouse Sports. So the Mouse Sports victory to get through is a very legit win, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
And the thing is, these guys, it's not that they've come out of nowhere. It's these names have definitely been around the CIS region. Waterfalls, I played back when I was still, playing Counter-Strike, so this is years ago now.
Like 93, I think.
Yeah, I think that's as far back as we have to go. But they impressed back then with the same kind of style that we saw coming out of Vega, unpredictable. These guys had some players stepping up and putting in damage, and we need to go through the names as well here. I feel like we're giving an education to everybody at home because the way the names are written is not the way the names are pronounced. It's not that simple.
Yeah, but I feel sorry for the casters. They can't... Wow, those are some shirts.
Okay, so far left, that is Valina. Okay?
Valina?
Yes. Then we've got Jimka. Then we've got Quick. I don't know who was next in the row, but the other one is Boomich.
Boomich instead of Boombler.
Yes.
Boomich.
Yes.
I hope James and Dan are taking notes.
They will have the pronunciations down pat.
Okay, fantastic.
I think that they'll be perfectly fine on that.
What was the first one again?
The first one was Valina.
Valina, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Sounds like a Venetian princess.
Waterfalls is easy to say. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We have not seen anything really from these guys in Tier 1 Counter-Strike since the Major at the start of the year. So they're going from Major to Major, right? That's where they make their impact. That's where they see their name. Otherwise, they've just had very average results. They haven't done anything of note. And it's, once again, another difficult team to predict.
That's the beauty of it. We'll talk more about that, and I want to hear your insights on that threat. A team that are unpredictable, that you haven't got that much to go off of, and you certainly haven't got play experience. Liquid will be meeting this team for the first time live now from London. But first, let's talk about Liquid. Let's bring up that North American roster. Threat, we've yet to hear your thoughts on it. A lot of our analysts are suggesting they've got a real shot at that trophy. What do you say?
Well, they impressed in the Challenger stage. They were up, they won 3-0, but they did go, it was overtime versus Vega Squadron.
That's right,
if I remember correctly.
1917.
So, I mean, I think they are favored to get to the semifinals, but I think they're still a bit shaky when it comes to the playoffs.
So what's your kind of criticisms then? This roster seems just to have all of the ingredients in the right place.
I talked with James yesterday, and he compared them to being the North American Astralis. They're by far the most tactical team in North America, but I still feel like they improvise and they adapt more to their opponents than what maybe Astralis does. And I think that's kind of what makes them struggle, especially in longer games.
So they improvise and adapt to their opponents. You see that as a downside, as a negative?
Well, it can backfire, especially, as I said, in the longer games. What if you get into a best of 3, you get to the third map, there is double overtime, then you run out. Yeah, you have to have something to fall back on.
So there's 3 names here which I think that could dig them out of pretty much any hole, and that's going to be Elige, Naf, and Twist, right? They're 3 of the best North American players that you have going around, and they're all riflers in their own regard. There isn't a lot of overlap in the way that they all approach the game, but somehow Zeus, as the coach behind, has made things work. Just to point things out, in case you're not so familiar with this, Nitro is now the in-game leader and the AWP player for the team, and he uses it more as a utility. Taco, coming from SK Gaming fame, is now finding a home here, and he's having more impact on the scoreboard. So there's a lot of parts in this, and the reason that I'm so excited about Liquid is because they didn't go to DreamHack Masters Stockholm. They took that boot camp time, and I think they've prepped and fixed their map pool. Towards the end of last year, it dragged on, right? And their map pool was the thing that was letting them down. They could, I don't want to say push Astralis, but they were one of the teams that looked like they could, but I just think they needed a little bit more practice,
yeah,
a little more time.
The last time we saw these guys offline versus Astralis wasn't that long ago. It was just the end of July, and of course that was at the E-League Premier 2018, and they got to the finals. It was Astralis, their final demon they had to shake off, and they just looked a little lost. A 16-5 loss on Inferno. They actually conceded a 14-1 half, and they're kind of just looking to recover from that now. They're looking to try and prove their worth, and it starts here. A best of 1 versus Winstrike, where undoubtedly the favourites, but it is going to be very interesting to see if the fact that they can't, as you said, prepare and understand their opponents, whether that plays a role in their result.
And the thing with Winstrike before the last major, they hadn't done anything particular before that either. And then they just went to the major and just surprised everyone.
Yeah.
So maybe they can repeat that, because the only results we have from them are from online leagues. And everyone knows that can be kind of random.
Pinch of salt.
And we got Vega doing the same thing. Vega came through, and they've made it to this stage once more by doing a very similar thing. They were off everybody's radar in terms of playing in Tier 1 events. We didn't really get to see too much of them unless you dig deep and you go down to those lower tiers of Counter-Strike.
But I love that.
It is very exciting that a region can produce a more unorthodox style of CS, which seems to be based around individuals and capitalizing on mid-rounds, right? That tells me that they at least have fantastic understanding of the game and good communication. The problem here becomes Liquid are a team who are at the top of the totem pole. They're not going to have any fear, right? They're going to, that may actually haunt them, but coming into this scenario, if you let your players like Naf, Elige, and Twist go out and do and play the way that they want to, and not they're the ones dictating the flow of the game, that's where they can run away with it.
Yeah, talking of individuals, you mentioned one of them, and he actually features in our head-to-head. We bring it to you now. It's brought to you by The Predator, a movie in cinemas September 14th, and it's actually Boomich. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Boomich versus Naf.
Jim Carr actually did an interview with HRTV.org yesterday where he highlighted that Quick and Boomich are the 2 players in the team who are set up to be the stars. So we've gone with Boomich here to see what he can actually bring, and pretty close to stats with ADR-wise for that of Nafly. But Nafly plays against Tier 1 opponents on a regular basis. So make sure you put that little caveat, make sure you use that context when looking at these stats. But Naf is a player who, during Renegades, he was the carry. He was the hard carry, getting it all done. Coming over to Liquid, he doesn't need to be the hard carry, but he's still an absolutely phenomenal fragger and needs to be highlighted for his impact.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like a carry when he stood in for Renegades, to the point, well, played for Renegades, to the point where you just like, wow, where has this guy been? Truth is, when he plays with a roster like Elige and Twists around him, he will just look just on par with everyone else. Now, let's take a look at that Veto. Now, we've put some thought into it. What do you reckon?
Well, I'm a bit surprised that Winstrike will Veto dust too. It kind of feels, as Chad said, they are more of an individual team, so you actually want to go for that kind of map. And
Bye-bye Nuke, that makes sense, I suppose. It's not a map they've been playing too much.
I feel like this is going to end up on a Mirage or Inferno, something like along those lines. Mirage is always really good for the CIS teams. It's just one of those maps where they're happy to play retake, they're happy to get in your face. Oh, Inferno being gone from Liquid. This is weird. I talk to a lot of teams now. Liquid is so good on Inferno in practice.
But it's still a big risk to play Inferno with best of 1. If you start at CT, you get money screwed early. You can go out down to maybe 8-1 and have only like 2 real weapon rounds. So I can kind of understand this decision. We're probably going to see Mirage.
Just to note here as well, just so everyone at home is like, well, why Liquid banning 3 maps and Winstrike are only banning 2? Winstrike have the choice to be either Team A or Team B. Team A will eventually get to select the map, whereas Team B gets to select the side, because Winstrike are the higher seed, which seems ridiculous, but that's what happens when you're coming from that legend stage. So it is Mirage, and this is one where I actually potentially worry for Liquid if they don't come into this 100% mentally prepared. Because the individuals and the I guess the unknown quantity of Winstrike can catch you off guard, and this is a map where snowballing is very easy to do.
Yeah, just a reminder from the Challenger stage, Liquid had to qualify. Of course, they've been in London for a whole week already. Their results was rather convincing. Aside from the Vega Squadron OT on Cash, it was a nice and easy 16-4 versus Optic on the map they step into now, Mirage, and Hellraisers didn't put up too much of a fight with the 16-9 on the aforementioned Inferno. So this has been a rather quick start for them. They managed to get to this stage quick, clean, and collected, and now they prepare for their first opponent of the Legend stage, and I need you to give me your predictions, gentlemen. Threat.
This should be one of the easy ones, shouldn't it?
Should it? It should.
Well, obviously Liquid. But if I'm Winstrike in this position, I would actually favor going for the T side and just go all in and disrupting their economy. But it's not going to be enough. Liquid is going to win this.
Yeah, and over there you can see your casters. They'll be casting their prediction as well. Oh, they gave it to you, James.
They have some toys.
Now we're ready. Now we're hyped. Okay, there we go. So James,
little prelude.
If I understand that,
I'm
that
so
sounds
happy right now.
Is that a Winstrike prediction? I hear.
That's a yes.
That's a yes.
I speak robot.
James.
Liquid.
Okay, there we go. So 1 for Liquid, 2 for Liquid, in fact, from Threat as well. Chad,
it would make no sense for me to predict against the team who I said I was going to win the whole major. So
That's
I'm going
true.
with Liquid.
Yeah, I think this is going to be Liquid across the board unless Dan does his usual. Dan,
I can't do it.
You can't do it.
I have to say though, Boomich looks like he's lost some weight. He's looking sharp today. I played the show match with Boomich and Jimka.
How did they do?
Time. And I was really impressed that English was super good. They're super focused. I actually think that there is a lot that this team can do, but I just don't think this is the matchup for them to do it.
I mean, yeah, they really have drawn the short straw in that first draw. And gentlemen, I think we're going to be loving you and leaving you as you get to guide us through Mirage.
Oh, don't leave me with him.
Oh, God.
Especially not now. This is just going to get worse, isn't it?
Stylophone. Makes me think styrofoam. I don't know what this is. It's kind of cool, though. Like, I wish this is cool. What does this do? Makes it kind of double time. I made a song. That's technically a song.
All right, well.
This is like the next FACEIT advert.
While James is doing this, you can do something productive. You can go to the Upcomer app, upcomer.com, and make your predictions
doesn't
known.
have this.
This one might be somewhat of an easy one, but it's a good warm-up for today. And I don't really know.
But you
what to
can't
with
do that
this.
on your Upcomer app.
No, you probably can't.
8%. Wow. Okay.
Maybe they're at it.
Well, I mean, should we be surprised? Liquid should win this because they're Team Liquid. Because they have spent much more time playing top flight CS because they've got much more money behind their team and they can do much more with that team. Right then, Liquid are going to be starting on the CT side and we are into the match arena. 3 players towards the B bomb site for Team Liquid, 2 awaiting on A. They've got the range, they've got the USPs. We've got a P250 on Quick and onto Velina as well. 3 players jumping on the ramp. There are 4 in total moving out, and you will see that Velina will just be keeping an eye on things towards jungle from the Palace position. And I love this. Jungle's been smoked off, and they are taking the rotation positions away. Normally on a retake, as you might see in a buy round, if you have a guy who needs to come through this crawl space, he's going to come in late. MIBR are a good example of that. But this is really interesting map control for Winstrike. They've got the bomb planted in an exposed position. How do Liquid deal with this?
It's certainly awkward. Nitro will lighten the load, and now the CTs will start to cue the push together, coordinate, trade it out, and so far so good. Everyone's getting kind of low. The bomb defuse is coming in, and that's going to put some pressure on Jimka. Able to find a fast frag onto Taka, relieving some of that pressure, but he will not be able to survive the onslaughts of a leash. And still enough, though, to win the rounds as Winstrike pick up the pistol. And that was a really difficult one. And just not having that kit can be such a problem in the last final moments there. And Winstrike get that edge that they need to start really dictating the pace into this T side. This is the start they have to have. They have to have a good start, James. They've got to try to snowball this against Liquid as soon as possible.
Their t-shirts look like they've gone through a gift shop in a bad aquarium. It must be said.
It must be a very bad aquarium considering it's just stars, James.
It's a space aquarium. It's a space aquarium.
Space aquarium.
But I respect the, they got the rocket thing going on, so I respect the continuity there. Twist, off to a good start. Hello, he's got an AK. I don't know if you want to keep dueling him in this situation. they're ill-equipped for the job. And trying to trade kills versus a guy's picked up an AK with a UMP and they've got the bomb. I think that maybe it was time to cut their losses in that direction. And now the round is pretty much over. Not a single player has been lost by Team Liquid just yet. Kvik can get some frags here. 3 of the players have helmets though, and there'll be 0 kills in round number 2 for Winstrike.
Oh dear.
Wasn't quite SpaceX in that round, Dan.
Not really the start that I thought they're gonna have after winning the pistol. This is a pretty awesome push, and if you're Team Liquid, you know you are going for one of these pushes, and maybe you get a bit lucky.
Why are they trying to, like, they know an AK has been dropped there. They don't have the weapons to fight. They have the bomb.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go elsewhere.
Well,
Space trivia. You know, with those old NASA rockets, they used to buy, because the systems were so old, they used to buy parts for them, some of the parts, on eBay.
fair enough.
That's true.
You can get some very reliable distributors on eBay. Well, it's going to be pretty rough from here on out, I think, for Winstrike. Again, one of the qualities of Team Liquid is that they are very consistent. It's actually me saying that they're the I fabricated the conversation with you. It's actually with me saying that Astralis, rather that's Team Liquid, kind of the North American Astralis, just that they just have the same approach, a similar attention to detail. They have a slightly different style of play, but overall they're very disciplined, and like their approach to practice and consistency is similar. And you know, that makes them very resilient in these best of ones, and they're very much like Astralis. They're very good at grinding them out. That said, CZs will do some damage here. Naf with the drive-by UMP makes it look so smooth. Wow, that was like a clothesline UMP move.
Cheeky grin on his profile picture, Naf.
He doesn't often show any kind of facial expressions. Like someone applied Botox to all of his face. Like all of his muscles are just immobilized.
They put his head in a bucket of Botox.
Yeah, it's permanently immobilized expression.
Naf is a guy. There was a period of time where I forced him to say hello to me, because he's the kind of guy who would just like rather avoid engaging with people and just keep himself to himself. So I made a point like we must engage in conversation.
Well, maybe you're distracting him from complex mental arithmetic that he's doing that could solve world problems, James.
Maybe, but sometimes a break is good. So he starts smiling when he sees me, because he knows he'll be like, "Hi Nav, how you doing?" Good round for Team Liquid. Elige doesn't need to die in this round, but he will get killed by Jumka. Good for 2 frags in this round, Jumka, and that will be that. He was a problem in that show match. All the kind of shenanigans and nonsense I was trying to do, he was ready for them and punished me every single time. Yeah, he ruined the show match for me.
Jumka and Boomich were awesome. They were really fun to play with too, like great English and so on, but now we have the bye again. And Team Liquid are going to try to hold on to what they have here for as long as they possibly can. Obviously, they don't want to rebuy into AWPs and you know, rebuy that UMP for as long as they can. You know, just save as much money as they can. Maybe you can win the rounds, everyone survives, and you can upgrade to 5 AKs. That would be the dream. Let's see though if the dream is a reality. Here is Elige is the one watching over middle, and Winstrike are quite passive at the beginning of this round, seemingly, you know, wary of underpass aggression, wary of any kind of aggression towards the B apps, and just sitting there for the time being, waiting for a delayed mid take. Looks like they could split it from underpass and from top mid. So slow beginning to this round for Winstrike, but eventually they'll have mid control.
Three smokes for the Winstrike squad. I imagine they will bounce one off in connector to obscure Elige's position. Now, to the left here, where he was standing Elige basically, is a nice place where you can have a look towards Palace and have a look towards connector without showing to them the whole time. So 1 minute mark and the window smoke is in. Nobody was terribly focused on it for Team Liquid, but of course they have to be aware of a potential boost, especially with so much elapsed time. So it seems Liquid do not want to live and die on their swords in the mid position. You can see Naf starting to move up the connector area. So if there is a late play into A, Naf can deal with it. Elige trying to see what's going on will be punished for doing so. There's the preemptive Molotov, and Naf will go forward. He sees some legs, but he can't quite land a kill.
Oh, he's getting so much free damage there. They aren't really in a position to turn around and twist with a very, very smooth shot there with the AK-47. And Taco now comes into play. This is very clean now suddenly from Team Liquid. They'll lose 2 players, but they'll be fine for that. They have been saving so much money. And that push in front of the Molotov on short was so effective.
It might look strange for those at home when you see Naf engaging. They basically don't turn around to deal with him there because they're exposed at the front as well. So sometimes you'll ignore fire from the back if you think the front is more of a priority. Unfortunately, Naf did manage to frag one of them, and then the problems compounded for Winstrike. Winstrike, who haven't had the best time in the world between majors, essentially, which a lot of people have had eyes on. Let's see what they're able to do. I mean, this is one of their toughest tests that they will have. Pistols for this round.
And it's definitely a good point to note that they didn't have the benefit of that previous week on this, in Twickenham to warm up and get used to everything over here. And so it's definitely a rude awakening from that perspective. And, Team Liquid looking sharp as ever. They're a very professional team. It feels as though they can make anything their home, any setup anywhere in the world. It's going to feel comfortable to them, like pretty damn fast. It's another day in the office for Team Liquid, and they're starting to get the ball rolling on the CT side. One thing that's worrying is not only just the individual skill here that Team Liquid are displaying and how hard that is to face up against, is that Team Liquid don't seem to have any problem just dealing with what's being thrown at them strategically. They're
looking super chill. The expressions on their faces are as if they're in a sauna with the towels out.
Sauna.
5-1. This is a tactical timeout from Winstrike at the moment. They have achieved maximum loss bonus. Lose 5 rounds in a row has been achieved. So they'll have all the tools. Waterfalls will pull out the AWP. But what will be their approach this round? Waterfalls has a crap spawn, so there will be no aggressive plays at the beginning towards mid, towards B. We see Boomich here. Looks like he wants to line up a smoke grenade. Where will it go? Top mid. No lurkers towards A to start things off. Could this be a split of the B bomb side? The bomb's been dropped on short. Boomich will pick it up and still have just that one smoke in mid for now. There's one in connector. Ooh, that was a close one. And that shows you why you have to be careful about your jump arc. Taco's was minimal. He had minimal exposure there. And you saw the second shot from the sniper towards the lip of the balcony. Somebody's standing at the back, which is a nice angle. If T's move to the balcony, you can shoot them straight in the face with the AWP from that range. So you must be careful.
Yeah, and Elige, he has the difficult job of being this guy that sort of just tries to get info on mid, tries to do damage if he can, but also try not to die. It can be precarious. We saw him in the previous buy round, dying, but his entire team pretty much survives once he got the info for them. So that's sometimes the nature of his job, and he's keeping tabs on the situation. And this is a good spot for Winstrike to B-split, to use to a B-split. And the Quick can play the lurk here in the connector position, and that can be quite a strong way to set up the round. But Team Liquid, they've got a good amount of utility left at this point. And Winstrike, the map has been very quiet whilst they set this up. So I think Liquid have time to figure things out. We'll see if that's the case.
That requires a seeking of information. They're not quite doing that. Nitro caught on the box. Will there be a second frag? Taco needs to try and buy time for his team to rotate. Elige is in for support, moving into the side, as you can see from Taco's POV. That's a big frag for Elige. 17 seconds, and Winstrike are running out of time. Bombs on the floor now, running out of players. Only one player picked off in that round. Naf heads towards 11,500. Twist above 12. Nitro on 11 as well. So things are looking really comfortable for Team Liquid. In 7 rounds, we have 10 frags for Winstrike. So
yeah,
this is not looking good for them because, again, even if they are to win a round here, they need to survive in the numbers. They need to win consecutive rounds to have a good shot at this half of getting a reasonable level of rounds on the board. They need to take the money away from Team Liquid, which will require multiple rounds. So there's many a problem. Elige has picked up a Krieg in this round. Yep. I love me some Krieg.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's also quite suspicious, Winstrike get the opening pick on the AWP instantly. And that's usually the pick that's the pick you want to get. That's like the best pick to make because it gets you in the B side. You can just spill everyone into the bomb side. But they were still unable to do so and gain any ground. And hang on, we've got a couple pistol kills coming out here. This is becoming awkward for Team Liquid.
Seems that Liberties were being taken because they knew that Winstrike were ill-equipped, but they're still dangerous. Now, Winstrike have not been able to collect any weapons in this situation just yet. But cleanup needs to happen here for Team Liquid. Taco playing passively on B for now. Nitro can rotate quickly to help Naf, but he doesn't know what the status is of Connector, for example. They're trusting that no one is going to be pushing there from the time being. But as you can see, Naf has to worry about multiple things. So if the timing is right for Winstrike, more can be done on this A bomb site.
Absolutely. It's definitely scary, though. You know, Liquid have players. Everyone's capable of these multi-frags. And Naf is definitely one of those players. He's waiting in a fairly safe position, which does allow him to back away. Oh, he's got to be careful, though. There comes the peek from the elevated position by Palace as well. Now it's down to Nitro. Great bunnying, but Quick will take him down. Taco looking to at least remove some of the guns from Winstrike. And we don't have to worry about Liquid's economy, but Winstrike, they lose some players here. It's definitely going to hurt.
I think Taco has to go for this, even if it's a guaranteed loss. You don't want your opponent winning the round on an eco because they get so much more money out of that situation, so he needs to thin the numbers as much as possible. Now we've got, there we go, Boomich trying to pick something up, trying to get cheeky. Taco's wondering if he should go for it. And to be honest, like if he did go for it, he would at least pull more people towards the bomb site. But he may get another kill from this regardless. There's the flashbang. Marvelous. The AWP taken away, so nothing is taken through to the next round. That's exactly the situation Liquid needed. Only a Desert Eagle. And it could have been so much more for Winstrike. So yes, they win the round, but Liquid forced them to spend all their money regardless. So if they get that reset in, then we might be looking at a 10-2 scoreline.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity for sure. And it would be a great round for Liquid to be aggressive too. I mean, there's two schools of thought. I don't think I'll get time to talk about them because we might have a very fast balcony burst on our hands by the looks of things here from Winstrike. And Liquid went for fast information on mid, so I do wonder now they're rotating back towards A, whether they'll be suspicious of this play. And oh, the damage done by the nades is enormous here for Team Liquid. And it's going to be very difficult for Winstrike to push out of these choke points at this point. The bomb down on the site as well. Liquid have completely decimated this push. It doesn't seem like there's too much to save this now.
Waterfalls.
Oh dear.
Is at the bottom of the river, perhaps. Only Nitro taken out. This is disastrous territory for Winstrike. They've got no money. They have done minimal impact to Liquid's economy. So this is plain sailing, smooth sailing for Liquid at present. The winds are pretty calm. They've got two AKs on the likes of Elige and Twist as well. Elige and Twist. You can throw Naf and Nitro. I mean, pretty much everyone on AKs. Just it's bad. It's a bad situation.
Bad.
Bad situation indeed. Tactical timeout from Winstrike. You see some discussion, but they're just up against a very, very, very strong team.
Team of astrophysicists, perhaps? Like various
What, their opponents or Winstrike?
Winstrike, they've got various constellations on their on their shirts.
Maybe they're into the celestial navigation. Perhaps we could have a conversation. I haven't... I've got a sextant in the books, but I haven't had time to learn how to use the sextant yet for my celestial navigation.
Could have made time, James. 3 less matchmaking games of the 25.
I can't.
3 days.
I must.
You can't use that excuse,
I've got
James.
new skins now. I have to play Counter-Strike, man. You know how much money I spent last week?
Well, it's Winstrike in a round like this. They did do some damage, pick up some kills, made things awkward. But perhaps Liquid, that's fresh in their mind now, and they're like, okay, let's just close this one down. At this point, it's got to feel like for Liquids, they've got to feel like they are so much better than their opponents right now. Just the way that they've won some of the rounds.
Well, they have to know.
And the difficulty at which Winstrike have had in this very match.
They must know. Taco having a look. He can quickly rotate out of the window, as evidenced by the rotation out of the window. A pistol round from Winstrike. Again, they're just trying to get some impact here. There are still, let's say, 4 rounds to fight for because this is a non-round at this point. So if they can get some damage in, every frag is $6,000 roughly in value. Jimka and Velina have managed to make their way into the B bomb site, and they're going to flank on Elige. Somehow, the Glock's getting to work here. Elige turning around. StarCraft aim, though. Can't shut that down. That is round number 8 for Team Liquid. Nothing doing there for Winstrike. No plant, no frags, but they will be back on the buy once again. Lost bonuses middling at the moment, but they'll have some grenades as well.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. The Krieg comes back out onto Boomich. I think we had some stats from last week. I think the Krieg was bought maybe like twice or something. So we're getting Boomich, really ramping up those stats, and we'll see whether or not it will be stolen. Stolen from him. Liege seemed like he's keen to get it in his hands, and Nitro with the jump across is going to start things off well for Liquid. Picks off waterfalls, and Team Liquid, they don't have too much to worry about. Just Valina in middle here, and we'll see whether or not it will be the case that Winstrike can somehow build on this mid control, although it's limited.
In the meantime, so Boomich keeps buying the Krieg, and he's trying to take a duel with a player playing CT on A, but not quite getting anything done. And now Boomich remains with Jumcut. Another round where one by one they get picked off. Taco will be forced from his position with a flashbang. He's going to stand his ground for a time. He'll fall back eventually. There's Boomich with the Krieg. It's pretty awkward to use at close range, especially when you're not scoped. Like, personally, I have no idea what's going on when I'm not scoped in. There's a nice scope on that skin as well. The racing decals, whatever you call it, livery, I think it's called, is amazing. The scope actually has some nice work on it as well. And there we go. Another round where 4 players survive for Team Liquid. This is a pedestrian game of Counter-Strike for them so far.
Yep, absolutely. It's just running through the routines and just getting it done. Again, as Chad said, I agree with him. So Chad thinks they'll win the major. So I'm not 100% sure if I agree with that, but I definitely feel like they are one of the favorites for the finals. I think that Team Liquid have the quality to get there. It would be.
So you just think they're not good enough to win, Dan? Why are you hating?
I think it's very difficult to predict who's going to win, but I think that they have the quality to get to the finals. So
it's a reasonable statement, Dan. I was trying to bait you into and there's some offensive wordplay. Another round of pistols from Winstrike. They've lost a player already, and Taco will take a duel towards apartments, but he will lose to Jumcut. But of course, it's not the worst thing in the world. There's a Molotov there. The gun will still be hard to retrieve. So, and at this point, this late in the half, I don't know how relevant the damage is. Again, Winstrike, there's been many a round where they've got one frag, and it's just not enough, really.
Creeping through connector. Creeping. But there's only so far you can creep before the bouncers take you away. And Team Liquid, they've really given up a lot of space here, and it's really cool because what Liquid are doing is playing incredibly safe. There's 4 players left on the team. There is not a crack in their defense in a sense. Twist is in a position where you can see pretty much all of the A's site, but he's not going to get caught out of position shot in the back. No one's going to get shot in the back with the current Liquid setup, and that's one of the good things about it. You give a lot of space to the T's, but they don't have much utility and they don't have good guns. So that space isn't as good, but if you're able to get a drive-by P250 headshot, maybe, just maybe, you can make something happen.
10 bullets left for Liege. That's enough for some more frags. None of these players have Kevlar. There'll be no more frag. Okay, so it's Twist alone now. Rifles collected by Winstrike, and this is really important for them. This is a lot more than they could have asked for in this round, and they need rounds. Who knows what the second half will be like for Winstrike? They could take people by surprise, so let's not expect both halves to be this dominant. You never know. Twist giving some audio cues away, but again, he's against players with no Kevlar, so it's going to be a hard one for Jimka to deal with. Twist, he needs to identify where the T is. Does he peek immediately? No, Jimka, not straight away. He peeks to Twist right, and he overexposes himself, but he's still alive, and that might be enough to win the round. Jumping USP is not quite going to hit the mark there. Ooh. I think he shot him in the head. I don't know, but either way, it is a round for Winstrike. No one will survive, but the round is theirs. Don't know what to really make of that round, but it's a round.
Well, that's a couple cheeky pistol rounds that have gone better for Winstrike than any of their buy rounds, really. Boomich still going to this Krieg repeatedly, which is kind of cool to see. We'll see, though, again, whether they can convert now that they'll be buy against buy. And it seems like, okay, so before I was talking about schools of thought when you're in Liquid's position. Liquid are playing against a team that they know they are much better than on paper and in practice, it would, seemingly. And so you can either try to play as safe as you want and just massively capitalize and exploit and punish mistakes the other team makes, or you can actually try to overwhelm them and try to disrupt them and just make it really difficult and create horribly difficult decisions for them to make, which you can also capitalize upon. That's what you can do by playing very aggressively and by taking pushes and leveraging your individual skill that's overall better. So they've chosen typically here the first option, the former, which is to just try to play relatively safe, not go for any big risks. We haven't really seen much risk taking on the CT side of Liquid here. They're just trying to play very standard. And I think also there's an argument that this is a matchup where they don't have to show anything. If they have anything prepared, that opponents who are studying them, who are more difficult later on down the line, might look at this demo. They're not going to see anything that Liquid are doing that they can exploit later on. Standard stuff here from Liquid, except now they go to double ops, and this is a good response to double ops, James. Just smoke off everything.
All right, then Winstrike. They start to move in. Always important to have that smoke on the bench position so the CTs can't creep behind it. Starting to move in now. That bomb needs to go down fast because the smokes are starting to disappear. Nav having a look from the jungle position. Elite's running distraction in the meantime. The bomb has been planted. There's one close for Nav and he won't quite get that frag. 3 players remaining for Winstrike. Make it 2. Make it 1. And what does Boomich even do in this situation? Does he... I mean, at this point, the round is over. But he's still going towards the ramp. The economic impact is irrelevant, and I think he should just save his weapon, really. There are 2 rounds remaining in this half, and now he's got $2,700, so I don't know what the point of that was.
Best not to think about it. But Liquid... Oh, they're going to throw away one? Yeah, they threw away one of the orbs. Oh. Oh well. Oh well. A couple of rounds left in this half, and Liquid, still not really seemingly to be being pressed in any sense. It's very comfortable for them, and this is compared to the tension we had in the previous matchup, it's quite a contrast. That GT Hellraisers game, definitely, if you missed that one, it's definitely the best Dust 2 game I think I've seen so far since New Dust 2. A really, really cool matchup. Just cleaning up the pistols here on Team Liquid. It's an easy affair. And we move into the final round of the first half. Liquid's very, very well positioned for the 12-3 finish.
Chew Master twist. So chewing helps people focus.
Yeah, so
we understand.
I haven't looked at any studies behind it yet, but I know that it's something one of the old Quake 4 champions, Toxic, it's the first time I saw it, and he won in a very, very competitive time. I think like 8+ tournaments in a row. No one could touch him. It was actually amazing, and he chewed gum as well. And then the reasoning is apparently motorcyclists do it as well, and it was a thing in apparently the motorcycle community. Again, correct me if I'm wrong.
To keep focus and alert.
It is, yeah, it is to increase focus, and I think part of that is imagine if you have any nervous energy, or if you're, it's sort of like fidgeting, it's a good routined outlet to sort of keep you in a more mindful state.
Fidgeting, you say?
Because imagine if you're just holding an angle, James. We have this issue where you can get kind of stale on that angle, and you can get a bit slow. Your mind will start to drift. If you're, chewing, you're constantly sort of doing something low-key,
That spread of the Molotov behind the boxes was perfect. Absolutely clean. Something to look out for. That's sometimes why you don't see the fastest of mid-takes. Because if you are forced into the open, if you are driven like a pheasant from the green, then you may be taken out of the sky. It's a nice pick from Waterfalls, but nothing doing just yet. AWP spotted in Palace, and Winstrike seem to be moving to some sort of A execute. A with smokes, perhaps. The fabled A with smokes.
Well, that's a really important frag. That's the Lurker dead. And now the push, they're trying to make the push happen. The flick is missed by Waterfalls. And it's a struggle now to get onto the bomb site. And the superior numbers here for CT side will also pose an issue. Twist picks up one more, and that's the 12-3 for Team Liquid. Very simple affair for Team Liquid so far. Not too much to say about this game, really, for Winstrike. Their T side, there's been sort of a distinct lack of pressure, I would say, on the T side. A lack of sort of creating mid-round decisions where you can see that Liquid have themselves some hard decisions or things seem to be obscure and they'll have to make some guesses. It's not really been like that. It's mostly just been Team Liquid. It just means playing safe. They're able to deal with everything.
Everything in its right place. Hashtag Radiohead.
Yeah. But as you say, James, we move into the CT side now for Winstrike, and perhaps they can show us something else.
5 sets of Kevlar for Winstrike. 3 players going towards the A site versus the 2 of Team Liquid in their pistol round. And the entire Team Liquid squad is here. They want to close this one out fast, it seems. Are they ready for it? They've got a numbers advantage, and Twist is good for a 2K, but there's one more to find. Waterfalls in the ninja position, or ninja if you are Nordic. Oh, so close. He was about to take the headshot, but Twist moved just at the last second, and that will be brutal. That's so annoying. You line it up, you're like, okay, I've been really careful about this. I'm about to click the mouse. No, he's moved. Oh, God.
Yeah, and also when people have their backs to you, headshots just I don't know.
I feel like you have to aim for the top of the neck in that situation.
It's just really weird, isn't it? It's really weird.
So when I'm playing pistol DM, you just don't hit anything unless you aim for the bottom of the top of the neck, rather. Twist finally eliminated after a 3K performance. There's no diffuse kit. Again, everybody picked up Kevlar for Winstrike, and everyone will fall for the Winstrike team. The missiles are faulty. 13-3, 10-round lead for Team Liquid. All the advantages. Do we see a force every round for Winstrike? What do you choose to do in this situation? How many options are there, even reasonably speaking, when you are 3 for 13 on the CT side and you lose the pistol?
I think you have to force buy every round, just because you're, as you said, like you're so far behind. You're like either you put it all on one round, and maybe you're gonna win that round 50% of the time, or you spread it out. You spread your risk, even though the risk is greater. You still spreading the risk can be potentially better. I'm not a mathematician, so I wouldn't actually be able to tell you mathematically what would be the best thing to do, but I guess that's part of Counter-Strike too. Oh, hang on. We do actually make some frags here, it seems, for Winstrike with this force buy, with these CZs, and UMP is collected. Although Twist is, kind of just walking back into that choke point, and we've got Liquid just, gathering once again, rallying for this A push, regrouping, looking to close things down. We've got Quick and Boomich on the bomb sites, looking to offer up that defense. Both playing Shadow as well. This could work out for them, although, as I say that, the Molotov is prepared, is ready, and that will make things very difficult indeed. Nitro picks up the one. Both players now spotted. Twist there to put in the finishing blows. He can't do it, though. It's up to the UMP of NAF, so this is getting quite close indeed. Bullets running out, and Winstrike, they will pick up the round indeed.
Okay, collected. Is there anything for the 5-7 player UMP in the last second? So there is something, and the money sucks for Team Liquid, so the force buy has worked for the time being. A man like Boomich. That's a nice shot.
Bish bash.
Just gotta love a Deagle. We were going to do a Sounds of CSGO for the Desert Eagle, but the one which was available to us had this big thing, some kind of like sight hanging off the end of it, so we chose not to do it. And then a second time, the Desert Eagle was broken in Vegas, so it will come eventually. Jimka on the balcony. That's a really nice peek from him. There's no flashbang ready, though, and that allows the T's to get closer than they otherwise might have. And that could be a problem. The numbers game working out for Team Liquid so far, but can Boomich be traded by Team Liquid? He can. Headshots galore. Waterfalls, has he been hurt? I think he has now. Taco doing a 180. That smoke is very brutal indeed, and still the headshots ring in.
Yeah, you hate to see that. You drop the smoke, and then you get shot in the face through the smoke. Lovely. Yes, not a good situation for Valina, and we'll take down Elige, and you kind of have to go for this now. I mean, again, you're behind so many rounds. You have no money at all. He has a kit and a flashbang. You know, I think it could be worth a go, but he will decide to back away here. There's just no optimal decision. Pretty much everything is an enormous risk at this point for you just losing the game. So it will be the case that we'll see Liquid on 14 rounds now to the 4 of Winstrike to get the bomb down, which will afford them, of course, well, okay, the bomb detonated, which affords them the round win, which now allows them just enough money to buy. You actually get more money if you win by bomb detonation than elimination, and it's a difference about $250. So you get 3,500 instead of 3,250. And with that extra bit of cash, they'll be able to get all the nades they want.
14-4. Uphill struggle, to put it mildly, for Winstrike team. 2 AKs for Team Liquid. Elige has a FAMAS. UMP onto Nafly. 3 AKs, in fact, for Team Liquid. Dangerous round. Alright, so Winstrike are ill-equipped in this round. It is a force by the scout. Jimka is the only man with a rifle. Velina will be looking for close engagements with an MP9. And they've put 4 people around the A bomb site, Winstrike. However, Team Liquid have started off towards B, so it seems they have avoided most of the issues in that respect. Jimka jump peeking, but they are already very close. Oh, gets his bell rung immediately and finished off by Nitro.
Indeed, that is a very fast entry to the site. They've got 3 smokes and a Molotov left, and it's a 5v4. That should be the bomb site, just under lock and key at this point. You can see Winstrike, they just immediately know it. It's kind of like when on Inferno you kill the banana players straight away, and then you just know the round is over, because it's just too much time for the T's to play into post-plant positions, and they have too much utility at that point in the round. It's just impossible by the time you rotate. So Liquid moving seamlessly, easily, not flawlessly, but onto that match point with the round win here. And will be a scout tag or 2 before the round is done, but not much really. Again, it's always going to be a really rough matchup for Winstrike, but we're not seeing sort of any signs of hope either.
Soon it's maybe over then. Soon it may be over. There may be some relief in the end of this game. I mean, again, who knows what they can do in other games, but this is probably one of the worst teams for them to go against. Although, to be honest, this whole stage is pretty much stacked. So
yeah, you can't win really. Yeah, we're in the new challenges against the old legends to create the new legends for next week.
Shadow. I see a shadow. But what does Boomich see? He sees a leg. There's a team-man push. And there we go. There's some real estate for them for the time being. And that will bring Liquid back. It may thwart their plans in the short term as they try to manage a situation which is slightly worse than it was before. T's moving through the apartments. Jumka and Quick towards B. Jimka having a look-see. Again, when you saw the previous peaks from Jimka, and there was almost an indecision from Winstrike as to, that's a great flash from him. Honestly, he knows all the little tricks. Good place to watch in that respect, but will it save them? This is a solid execute from Team Liquid. Elige looking top mid though, and it doesn't seem like they are going to commit to this. Taco moving through the underpass with the bomb. Now, does Nitro go towards A? They don't know what the situation is towards the ramp, towards the palace, and Nitro will be the man to lead that investigation.
But what can Taco find there in the connector position? Is he looking to go for the peak? You know, he can actually get an angle towards Boomich there if he tucks into the corner. Oh, the timing is not good for Boomich. Lee's just going to get the kill, and now that's the A-bomb site in problems. Velina, he has been uncheckable, but now he'll be discovered. Maybe he should have waited a bit longer. It's always hard to say in that position how to play it. There's never necessarily a right call, and it looks like it's a hunting situation now for Elige. He's going after Jimka, although Jimka is going to get one up on him. However, there is a big problem, and that's that bomb ticking away. Taco covering from Sandwich. Ooh, nice peek from Quicker. There's a solid chance here. Twist will slow things down, though, as Nitro aims to do, but he'll be unsuccessful. They can take this round now. They'll both go for the peek. There's time.
There is time. Winstrike managed to survive another round. Now, Kvik, is he going to drop a weapon for his teammate? Because he's only got a scout. He will indeed, and collects another AK. So Winstrike survive. 10 more rounds for them to try to bring back. And let's see, there's money for the most part on the Team Liquid side. Winstrike not really working with a lot there. And this buy is fairly reasonable for Winstrike. They don't have an AWP, but they've all got rifles and good grenades. They've got 3 defuse kits. When you are light on defuse kits, it's always important to mention this to your teammates when you die, where the defuse kits are. So we have a very fast execute from Team Liquid, but there's a Molotov to try and stop things. They're charging through it, however. The flashbangs continue to rain in, but there is a first frag for Winstrike. More Molotovs in case they jump out the window, and the CTs are getting some frags here. There's a bomb, and now Taco is alone. Nice response so far from Winstrike. They need to survive in the numbers should they win this round. But Taco still has time for a clutch. They don't. I'm not sure if they are entirely convinced as to where he is, but Waterfalls is starting to rotate in now, so perhaps he's been spotted.
The Taco, nice pick up there. 2 more to go. Over a minute to do it, but the bomb is stuck in the site. That does limit his options quite significantly. Otherwise, he would actually be in maybe, arguably not a favorable position, but quite a winnable one if he could just go to the A site with the bomb and split up the CTs. But they know the bomb is down on the B side, so this limits him. He has to go and get it at some point. And he's deciding to go the long way around, which is definitely a sensible option. And he could absolutely catch someone. He's likely to find a 1v1 doing it this way. Oh, no. Oh, that's, you don't want to see that.
Oh, that's a GG right there.
Yeah, you hate to see that. Big sound cue. You expect that would be broken as well. That's bizarre.
30 seconds. He knows where one of the players is. Second one spotted towards the bench. And that's round number 6 for Winstrike. No plant in this round for Team Liquid, which means it is eco territory for Team Liquid. That's 2 rounds in a row for Winstrike. Now, how long can they continue for?
Yes, indeed. It is a long, long road.
On the plus side for Team Liquid, actually, this is an execute which, well, there's pros and cons to Team Liquid. This is an execute which their opponents can look at and see how Winstrike dealt with it. They telegraph what they're doing by throwing the grenades so fast, but I'm sure they have a plan B where it's a fake. But there's a lot of mileage for the CTs to get Molotovs in and make it harder for them before they get anywhere close to the B bomb site. Now, Liquid trying to use the numbers game. They've got the bombs down, but they're pretty much getting wiped out here. Now, damage is pretty big for Team Liquid in a round such as this, but there will be no damage.
One of the problems for Winstrike as well is that Liquid are in a situation where they can just gamble every round. They can just, if Liquid wanted, they could just rush B every single round. Because you expect that if you do that, 7 times in a row, you might win one of those rounds. And that's all, they just need to win a round. It doesn't matter, like the rest doesn't really matter, unless they're thinking about their statistics or something. But there is so much crazy stuff, like high risk stuff that you can just try to make work that could just really catch your opponent off guard. So it can get really weird sometimes when a team's in that position. But Liquid generally have been showing a really basic game style. I really think that they don't want to show anything. They don't want to overcomplicate anything. They know the basics can win against this team, so that's what they're just trying to rely on. And it's like a slow mid-take will be in order here for Team Liquid, a delayed mid-take. We shall see. We shall see how it all pans out for them. 3 players towards the A bomb site for Winstrike. Very heavy lean towards A with no information really. And that does give Liquid middle if they want it. They won't have any resistance here. 4 players on A for Winstrike at this point. It's very gambly for being, down 7-15. If Liquid were to explode on the B site, then the round is over. They don't have any information to think that it could be otherwise.
The Smoker Liege was lining up was the connector, but it seems he'll be deploying the one to the window instead. Now the smoke on connector would help if they were making a short play for a B split, which it seems they might be doing anyway. And there is the smoke to enable them to do that. So here we go. It's a B split into the B bomb site, and Jumka is alone playing the sneaky gap, but he can't really do much of that. And now the skill of Liquid comes into play with AK-47s no less, and Winstrike are completely out of position.
Oh dear. Oh dear. The worst thing that could have happened. And I don't know what they can do here. Obviously they're committed to try to go for it, but it's not a good look. 5 versus 2 now as they get whittled away until it's just Boomich left. And they played a huge gamble, James. And that's, if you're 7-15 down, that's going to go wrong at some point. And Liquid will effortlessly take their game against Winstrike, which will be a beautiful way for them to start off this best of 1 phase.
Yes, I don't think the score tells a story, even with 7 rounds at this point, because that was all Team Liquid, as it should be. I don't think there are any surprises there, and of course, Winstrike have to take gambles because they are simply against a much better team. So I think it's fair to say that everything went as it should, and it's a great start for Team Liquid, a very comfortable start for them, and their true tests will come later on this week.
Yeah, I don't think... I think a game like that's really awesome for Liquid just because, again, all they really need is just do some basics. Whereas, like, you know, G2 in the previous match and Hellraisers, they've both got to go pull out all the stops to make that win happen. So definitely a good one for Liquid.
Yeah, and that's great because, again, for the most part, Liquid don't have to show everything in the world. But I think I mentioned their fast execute towards B, where they had the really far back smokes for the short arches. Now, that's information that they can take away in how Winstrike responded to that and the problems it caused Liquid. So that's something that, yes, teams can see. They have done it before, but Liquid can also look at that and improve their approach to that for future games against tougher opponents.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because maybe, you know, if you want to try to find a silver lining for Winstrike, you know, at some point they're going to come across a super difficult opponent. Liquid probably one of the hardest opponents in a very stacked grouping of teams. So, you know, at least, you know, getting used to the setup as they went here last week, it's going to help maybe give them some comfort. It's never going to be rewarding ever to lose, but you're going to feel less blamed if, you know, for losing against what is arguably one of the best teams to play against.
Parla is with Team Liquid.
I am indeed, James. Mr. Canella, can I speak to you briefly about that final round? It seemed you guys had a perfect read on that B site, being that there was only one member from Winstrike there.
Yeah, so like the previous rounds we abused B, so I figured that they would stack a little bit towards B and leave it mid, and we used Cat and it worked out really well.
Tell me maybe the one bad part of that match, losing that second round on the second half. What went wrong?
The eco?
Yes.
I think we were doing a double molly on Belk and they pushed halls and got halls, and then we had to cancel, and there was just a clustered F, but I'm not going to say, you know.
A clustered F, we know what that means. Nick, overall, how do you prepare for a team like Winstrike who haven't been playing too much Counter-Strike of this level recently?
It was actually very hard. It was just like Vega. They didn't have that many matches to watch or study or to analyze. It was just like kind of a gamble. But we kind of knew what map we were going to play, so we kind of prepared our own game plan, and it worked out for us.
Awesome, congratulations. Wilton, can I get you over here for a brief moment? Sir, what have you been up to with your time off over the last few days? I think we had some plans, then you kind of cancelled on me.
You went home, man. What are you talking about? You said you were super tired. Yeah, so we practice every day. We kept our routine going, at least 6 maps a day, plus theory, review of our demos. As soon as we had the opponent, we tried to prepare for them. Nick did a lot of the work for that, and everyone just kept focused. And we also tried to take a day off, relax a little bit, try to not get burnt out, not overthink it. It's a competition, but we have to have good mentality, good spirit going into it, and we just took it like that, and apparently it paid off.
When you found out you were drawn against Winstrike, were you happy?
I wouldn't say happy. It was between them and Mousesports, so of course we were more relieved that we didn't get Mousesports, as it was always a hard match for us, but you have to take everyone here at the Major seriously, and I'm not saying that just politically correct. It's especially the teams when you can't prepare for them. Vega showed us 1 or 2 rounds that go in their favor, they can turn the whole match, so I wasn't too happy just from the unpredictability factor, because we like playing teams that we know their structure we're used to.
Talking about favourites, final question, Wilton. You're a team that is on the minds of many. After this, has that added to the confidence?
Sure. I mean, it stays the same for us. It's more of a goal for us. It's not even to the confidence. We want to make that finals. We want to win it. And we have to take it game by game. And whoever comes in our path, we hope to destroy them.
There we go. Destruction potentially in the future for Team Liquid. Congratulations to you and your team. Taco, would you like to say anything to the wonderful people at home?
Hey guys, thank you for rooting for Team Liquid. Keep supporting us. I love that. And that's it. We're going to do our best to represent Canada, Brazil, the US, and everyone that likes us. So thank you guys for supporting us. I love you.
There we go. Sending some love to all of you at home. Alex, let's head over to you on the desk.
Let's do it. Rather open and shut case for Team Liquid. Winstrike, they were an unknown quantity. However, we knew Team Liquid were going to come into this all guns blazing. Twists, Naf, Lige, those stars did shine bright as every single one of them had their moments, Taco included, and holding down sights like no one else.
Welcome back to the big leagues for the Winstrike guys right there. So many misplays, so many mistakes that we'll be highlighting later. But for these guys in that first half, the 3 rounds they won, 2 of which were pistol upgrades, right? And those are rounds which are normally always on a knife's edge because 1 kill can snowball things out of control, and they were able to get away with that. And then as we flicked on over, this is one of the rounds which was a force buy for them, a last-ditched hope. They had a couple of cleaner gun rounds, but really, it was what we expected, Liquid running away with it.
Yeah, but you say what we expected at this point in time after all the underdog stories of the Challenger stage. We didn't know what to expect throughout, but this felt rather like its predictable conclusion.
Yeah, after they won the force by Liquid, the second round, you could almost feel like the game was going to be over. It's going to be a quick one, and there were no like real punch from Winstrike. They didn't do any aggressive plays. They just played way too passive, and as Chad said, they missed too many grenades. There were just too many individual mistakes.
So that's just going to be a kind of something for them to take back, rehearse, and fix coming into tomorrow, where they'll have some more time and another scary opponent.
I knew that they weren't going to have any shout in that first half when I saw Boomich buying the Krieg.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe that's a conversation to be had. It's a little more expensive. It's a best first billet accuracy.
Cool.
It's
got a scope.
It's got a scope.
Yeah, it looks
for
cool.
holding on
Looks
the CT
pretty cool.
side or the T side.
Yeah, there's a reason that the best teams in the world don't dabble with those weapons, and that's because you don't need to. You have the AK-47. It's like the best gun in the game.
It does hit the head, and I'm going to hit the head to head. Let's go ahead and bring that up. Lots of head. And not making any jokes. The Predator, though, is coming in cinemas September 14th. It was now from Boomich. Yeah.
So he was the guy buying the Krieg. He didn't really have a fantastic game, and he's meant to be set up as one of the stars for this unit. Actually, Jimco was the one getting the majority of the entry kills, and that was very few and far between on that first half.
120 ADR.
Yeah, well, Naf was having a field day in that first half. He could do whatever he wanted. There was so many scenarios. I think Lige also had a very good game. It was kind of just mopping up. This is a stat padding game for a team like Liquid.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at their multi-kills threat. 8 for Lige, 6 for Naf, 9 rounds where they got a multi-kill for Twists. It was just, seemed like a rather one-sided affair. Yeah,
and it seemed like they used all their utility in mid to go for the mid control, and then they just stayed in the mid ramp.
Yes.
Like no one dared to go to the boxes. It's like, okay, we wasted 3 smokes, but we haven't gained any ground. Yeah. And then like walked out in middle and just got picked off.
It really did. It did look painful. And, of course, those are the misplays that you wanted to highlight with your demo.
Yeah, just a couple of bits and pieces we've tacked on here just to highlight the difference between a quality team and one who we haven't seen anything of coming in here as an unknown quantity, not even been able to land grenades. This is the round that we're talking about with the missed window nades. They're going to top mid smoke, and they know that there's an AWP, but they want to nade him. So the nades, they both missed. That's, $600 down the drain, right? That's something which is completely and utterly not okay at this level. Here is a round where they have full utility. Let's do a 3-man contact play out of Palace early in the round. Oh, wait. You mean we just wasted all of that investment we just made?
So those nades are on the floor now.
It's just completely pointless doing a contact play when you have full utility, right? If you want to do it, at least make it sure it's late round so they can't be Molotoving and destroying you as you're coming onto the bomb site. There's just pedestrian mistakes. These aren't the mistakes that you want to be seeing at the highest level of Counter-Strike.
I actually wonder if they think they hit those HEs into the window, because they can't see if they hit them because of the smoke, and they've just done it on practice every single time, but maybe they just missed it.
And they haven't got someone standing behind them watching the demo going, hey, not working just yet. So yeah, that's actually really interesting, and a lot of light shone already on Winstrike and their flaws. They'll be looking to fix that one coming into their next game tomorrow, but coming up right after this, we have FaZe versus Big Clan. I'm really excited for this one to see what shape FaZe are in, another team that a lot of eyes are on to make a deep run here at the Major. Standing in their way is Big. Came through the Challenger stage with a couple of bruises and scars and scabs, but they're here, and they're looking to do damage. God B says he likes those teams that he can prepare for, and there's certainly plenty of stuff to prepare for FaZe. Epics.gg was just on the screen, one of our sponsors. You can check it out at epics.gg or on your phone, iOS and Google Play, all of that good stuff to collect and trade your favorite CSGO stars. We're taking a break. When we come back, FaZe versus Big Clan is coming up next for the FACEIT Major.